Good morning. This is Matt from Education News. Today we're covering good news stories from around the world. First up, an 18-year-old girl named Gillette Lamar recently won a huge jackpot. What's interesting about this is that 13 years ago, she was a girl who donated her piggy bank to help those in need. The jackpot that she just recently won was worth 48 million Canadian dollars, which is roughly 40 million USD. The story behind her is that 13 years ago, when she was just 5 years old, she found out that there was a big earthquake that happened in Haiti. She wanted to help, so she broke open her piggy bank, which she had roughly $60 at the time, and donated that money. So she made the news 13 years ago for her generosity towards the people that she didn't know. And then she made the news again for this lottery win. She stated that she went to the ice cream parlor where she got this lottery ticket to actually go buy ice cream for her grandfather, and was around her 18th birthday, so her grandfather told her to go ahead and get a lottery ticket. She didn't know how to do that, so she actually called her dad, asked how to buy a lottery ticket and do the whole process, and ended up winning this giant jackpot. Thankfully, her father is a financial advisor and her grandpa seems pretty squared away, so I am sure she will be able to use this for a lot of great things. The next story today is about an 85-year-old Jewish man named David who was saved from the Holocaust thanks to the help of his neighbor named Georges Berlet. Whenever David was 5 years old, he and his mother were essentially taken in and hidden by Georges in the city of Brussels, Belgium. At the time, Nazi members were going around and rounding up Jewish individuals to send them to concentration and death camps, and this individual definitively saved David's life. David Rosler's son, Lionel, has been searching for a really long time trying to figure out who this individual that saved his father and grandmother were, and was able to get in contact with the descendants of George's. With the help of a genealogist, they were actually able to find Georges Berlet's grandchildren, and they had a really emotional reunion at the home where David was kept safe. So, this is a really awesome story of multi generational families coming back and finding each other thanks to a very, very good deed that happened 70 years ago. Next up, a 17-year-old high school athlete recently jumped into a icy lake to help save an 83-year-old man who had driven his car into the lake. Joe Salmon, who was fishing at the time, saw the Jeep go in and ran over and immediately jumped in. Thankfully, he was able to pull the individual out of the car and also pulled the man's dog out of the Jeep that had plunged through the water and had broken through the ice. Additionally, four other individuals came to help. They all called 911 and they got everyone out of this incident safely. So it's a really awesome thing that this 17-year-old kid, Joe, immediately went into action, saw what was needed to be done, and really risked his own life to go save this individual and his dog. Next up, the co-founder of Airbnb has recently donated $25 million to an organization called the Ocean Cleanup. This is a Dutch nonprofit that's been around for roughly a decade, and they really focus on how to get plastics out of the ocean. The Ocean Cleanup's original project was going out to the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, and they have this system that essentially scoops up all of the plastic out of it. And since that system's been out, they've collected over 300,000 pounds of plastic that's just kind of floating out there. That system is now really being refined and scaled up, and it's expected to be the most cost effective and just overall effective solution to really significant ocean pollution. With this really significant donation, the organization expects that they're able to build a lot more of these systems and really kind of introduce them to more areas, specifically in Southeast Asia, where there is a lot of plastic pollution that's entering the oceans. So it's great to see an organization that's actively trying to clean up and really kind of mitigate a lot of these pollution problems that are coming from single-use plastic. The last story of the day is actually a mixture of good news and a little bit of history. An international group of cryptologists recently uncovered and deciphered a group of letters that came from Mary, Queen of Scots, while she was in prison between 1578 and roughly 1584. The contents of these letters is really kind of like a personal diary that describe her thoughts and plans while she was being imprisoned by Queen Elizabeth I. It also covers her distress over the capture and imprisonment of her son, who she trusted and who she didn't, amongst kind of like the English aristocracy and monarchy and the individuals that were negotiating on her behalf. So it's really a wide-ranging, interesting look at what she was thinking of at the time while she was in prison. While the English government knew that there was a confidential communication channel happening between Mary and her supporters, they were really unaware of just how significant it was, as well as kind of the depth of things that Mary and her supporters were talking about at the time. I find this really interesting, one, because I love puzzles, but also it really shows that there is still a lot to be discovered, especially with well researched subjects like the English monarchy. All right, that's the good news of the week. So obviously, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you find anything interesting and you want me to talk about. I hope you have a wonderful week.